The Orange Zone, sponsored by Billy Whitaker Cars and Trucks.
Hello, everybody. Happy New Year, and welcome to another episode of The Orange Zone. I'm Samantha Croston. We have Ashley Wenskoski. We have Lawrence Moten. We have Rachel Culver on the producer mic. Little clap it up for that. Brendan Hodges no longer with us. Tommy Sladek out sick. So thank you, everybody, for joining us. We want to talk hoops today. I always like to just open it up. Hughes Nation, how we feeling? How are we feeling?
I mean, it's a good day to be a fan of Syracuse basketball, women's basketball especially, the national rank. After that big win over Notre Dame, I mean, that was exciting inside the Dome. Felisha Legette-Jack has a future as a motivational speaker if she's ever done with basketball. Did you see her speech afterwards?
I did.
Crazy.
I thought, they were doing some of those editing videos and whatnot where they're just showing the highlights.
Yeah.
And some of the questions she asked, she's like, who are you when you look in the mirror? Like all these really, she's very motivational, I have to say. Moten, how you feeling?
I'm feeling very good. Happy New Year, everybody. Felisha Legette is an amazing person, just not as a coach, and she's a great motivator, like you said, Rachel. And the sky's the limit for the university, women's basketball. She's putting it back on the map. It's just good to see being a former player and someone who used to go to her office when she was assistant coach and just chop it up with her and hear what she had to say and what she thought. And she's a natural, plain and simple, and it's going to be a great year. And just a great feel for someone who's a great coach like herself for this university. She's
big on finding your why. That's what she talked about a lot in that speech. And there is definitely a lot of reasons to be playing for her right now. Moved to 11-1 on the season, 1-0 in the ACC, and Sunday's 86-81 win over the Fighting Irish. Ashley, you mentioned it. This was at home, had the crowd jumping. De'Asia Fair putting up 27 points, so nothing new there, but a big performance from Alyssa Latham. Georgia Woolley also doing her part with 10 points. I mean, this was start to finish a great game.
Yeah, this is the best start that they're off to since they went 12-1 in the 2017-2018 season. And I just think to make a statement like that early on, we just entered conference play. Felisha Legette-Jack said it herself after the game. Notre Dame's a team that by many had preseason ranks to go all the way to the Final Four. So to make a statement like that this early on is, forget the record and forget everything else. It's just huge for confidence, and it's huge for the fan base, I think.
That's right. Syracuse at this point is finally ranked. So a little clap for that because I feel like it's a little too little too late.
Absolutely.
But they're finally ranked in the AP poll at 25. Moten, what did you see?
Well, like I said, it all starts, and I tell people all the time, you are the style of your coach. If you have a fiery coach, you're going to have a fiery team. If you have a motivated coach, you're going to have a motivated team. And she's just done very well wherever she's been coaching. And the sky's the limit. I'm happy for her personally, and I'm happy for the team. This was a big win for the Syracuse women's basketball team. I want to say one of the biggest wins probably in the last 10 years.
I would have to agree with that. I mean, I think we had to give flowers a little to De'Asia Fair just because, again, it seems like every game, no matter what, this is the consistent piece. It marks her 6th game this season with 20 or more points. She scored 14 of 27 points in the 4th quarter, and she just continues to move up her points over her collegiate career, 2,927. That girl is going to hit 3,000. Wow. It's going to happen. Oh, yeah. And it's going to be amazing when it does. But again, some of the freshmen that we've seen on this team, everybody is doing a great job so far. And they're, I don't know, I feel like overcoming any challenges that have gone in their way. I think it's important to keep in mind that the only loss they had was a close loss to a then-ranked Maryland team.
Yes.
So I think the sky is the limit for this team. But moving forward, it's going to be interesting to see what they can do.
Yeah. Yeah, I honestly think, like I said, with Coach Legette, one of the things that she does well as a coach also is she lets everybody know their role. And that's very important as a coach. You let your players know what you need them to do individually. And she does a great job of that, and they're doing well.
What do you think is the role of some of these freshmen? She obviously has some youngsters who really know how to play well. How do you incorporate them into a team that does also have some veterans that are high-powered?
Yeah, well, knowing Felisha, she wants you to be aggressive and do what you do best. And as long as you can do that within the system, everything will take care of itself. But like you said, they have some good freshman players that are playing very well. But each game we want them to get better and better, and we're going into ACC play like we are now, and it's going to start getting tough. But this is when you learn to see who's really there for you as a player, and who's there for you to give it their all.
That's right.
Yeah, I just wanted to say I really enjoy Felisha Legette-Jack's post-game press conferences. I think they're some of the best, forget about sound bites, but just some of the best content. She really just sits there, and it's like all those girls are her like kids, She puts her arm around them. She's so motherly towards them, and I think it's just a great attitude to have. And she's been very reflective, especially these past few weeks, the starts of this season, because her off-season scare that she had with her health, and just she's been so reflective on how grateful she is to still be in this position.
I mean, it is crazy when you think about the things that they've overcome just as a team. I can't even imagine what FLJ has had to overcome individually just to get to this point. It was a health scare earlier in the season. And listen, you can look at the stats all day, and they're impressive. I mean, the one thing that sticks out to me out of everything that Rachel Culver so kindly put together is that the Fighting Irish had held opponents to under 57 points through their first 10 games. And Syracuse dropped 86.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, that's a statement to me. The win earned the Orange Week 9's NCAA Women's Basketball Team of the Week honors. So this team, they're heating up at the right time. And there's a lot to look forward to here. But Ashley, you mentioned it. I think the thing that makes this team so special is their chemistry and their culture. I mean, you said that you always used to just chop it up with FLJ back in the day. Like, what is she like just as a person?
Well, like I said, she's fiery. She's definitely fiery, but she's a very good motivator, and I can tell people, as a coach, when you are fiery, energetic, and you're motivating and trying to get the best out of your players, and they really appreciate that. They want to run through a brick wall for you. So she's building that chemistry with those players, and in order to learn how to win, you have to win at home first. I'm always big on that, and she's teaching them how to protect your home, and the sky's the limit.
Yeah, I think those girls just love Felisha Legette-Jack. Like, you can just, it's an infectious energy. They would do anything for her, like you said.
Yes.
You've always been big on protecting your home.
Yes.
I like that sentiment.
Very important.
I do think it's very important.
Yes.
Well, the women will head to Chapel Hill, North Carolina to face North Carolina on Thursday, January 4th. I'm going to bring in Rachel Culver here for a quick minute. She's been working on an awesome byline. She does it once a week, and she has something exciting kind of popping up for this week. So what are you cooking up for us, Rachel?
Yeah, I think this week, what I really want to do is I want to explore this whole AP top 25 poll situation. We have been talking about Syracuse women's basketball and the hope and excitement we have for this team for weeks. We've also been talking about why has this team not been ranked. So, regardless of whether they became ranked last week or not, I had decided that I wanted to kind of delve a little bit deeper into what that system is like, what those voters are thinking, who those voters are, what makes them able to be on that committee where you're deciding, and just really taking a look at everything that Syracuse has put on their resume so far this year and comparing that to where everybody else on that poll stands. So that's my plan for this week.
Very cool, and welcome again. Excited to have you on here. But you're right, it is interesting. I mean, I don't want to speak for either of you, but I'll just speak for myself. I did think that this ranking came a little late. And it's interesting to think about who decides that and how much power these voters have, not just in Syracuse women's basketball, but across all sports, like in college football.
Yeah, Rachel, I'm really glad you're doing that because I'm interested myself to learn more about that. But yeah, I think it came a little bit late. And like you said, I also personally was surprised that they just got in there at 25. I don't make those decisions, obviously, but I saw some people speculating on social media, maybe they weren't preseason. They were kind of with this cautious optimism, but they weren't really ranked that highly in the preseason. So maybe some of these voters are kind of hesitant to deviate from what they originally said when we're just getting into conference play. I'm not sure, but...
Well, that's a whole other thing. Like, with this whole preseason ranking, like, they weren't even expected to be at the top of the ACC.
Right.
And look at where they are now. So I understand how that could maybe play a role, but at a certain point, when do you draw the line and be like, it should not play a role? So we'll see.
Right.
And Moten, even for you as a player, is this something you ever cared about? I mean, did you guys look at the numbers and the rankings and anything like that?
Yeah, we did. and thank God we were ranked all 4 years that I was there. So that's a big,
Subtle flex.
That's a big thing also. My highest ranking might have been 4, and the lowest maybe 18, 21 in that range. But like I said, it's just a big thing for Coach Legette and the team. It just shows their progress and what they're doing. And, you know, sometimes as a player, when you do see that, it motivates you and makes you want to play better. And where are we now? 20, 25?
25.
Okay, so let's try to move up to 15, 20, you know, and that could be your motivation.
Yeah, with her, sky is the limit, and I think the motivation goes well past the numbers.
Yeah.
Over to Syracuse men's basketball, where I'll just open it up to first thoughts. I mean, I watched that whole game. I was really impressed. I thought this was some of the best basketball we've seen all season.
It was the best basketball we saw all season, Sam, and it was refreshing, you know, being as though ex-Big East team, you know, it kind of reminded me of the old Big East days, you know, banging and scratching and referee letting you play. And I was sort of, you know, had mixed emotions. Of course, I'm going for Syracuse, but my assistant coach was Tim O'Toole, and he was on the bench for Pittsburgh.
How about
Yeah,
that?
so it was good to see him also. But it's just an all-around good team effort. Copeland is definitely starting to play very well. He's like the Swiss Army knife on the team, the guy who does all the little dirty work and, you know, talks a lot of trash. I've been to the practice. He's the one who talks the most, you know, just little things like that, what you need. And honestly, we can go very far, but to me, the X factor is Benny Williams. If Benny Williams can solidly give us 14 a game, 12 to 14, the sky's the limit.
No, that's very interesting. And for anyone who missed it, even though I felt like everybody was so locked in, Syracuse men's basketball was battling Pittsburgh. They won 81-73. Was their first ACC win. Both teams came into the game 9-3, 0-1 in the ACC. So there was a lot on the line here. They improved to 7-0 in the Dome this season. Talk about protecting their house. Ashley, I'll just turn it to you. What did you think? What did you see?
So I was there. I was on the floor shooting the game. And
So who saw it better than you?
I know.
man?
I had my front row seat, best seat in the house. You know, might get hit with a ball every now and again, but
Sure.
other than that. Anyways, it struck me right away. It was such a physical game, which I think is what you were getting at. Like, they were falling all over the floor, fighting for the ball. There was Syracuse. I think one of the big differences with them this year is they're getting those fast breaks. They're getting those steals. Judah Mintz obviously is great at that. So, yeah, it was a real battle. It was really physical, and it was a fight. That game was not handed to them by any means. I think they were down by 10, 11 points at one point.
Yes.
And I think that also speaks to something different about this team this year. They're fighting back. You saw it in the Cornell game. You saw it in the Colgate game. And I think that's really a good indicator for the rest of the season.
I mean, there was fight. There was heart there.
Yeah.
And you
There
mentioned Benny Williams.
Yes.
We'll get to that. But let's take a beat on Quadir Copeland
Yeah.
because, I mean, Swiss Army knife is actually a great way to put it. He had a
Yes.
career-high 22 points, 9 boards, 4 assists against Pitt. In Syracuse basketball's last 4 games, this guard is averaging 16 points, 6 rebounds, 4.5 assists, and 2 steals. There's not one thing he's not doing. He
Right.
also trash talks. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
what does the guy not do?
Yeah.
He's just been playing very well, and I can see his confidence getting better every day. Even in practice, I see him talking a little bit more and giving guys a little bit motivation, and that's what's going to be needed. And another thing I like about this team is very deep. You know, in the past couple of years, we've, you know, of course, Boeheim only played about 7. Now we're like 9 to 10 players he can play. You know, so which also helps, and it gives other players confidence to want to do well when they get a chance to get in.
This bench scored 52 points compared to Pitt's 17. It accounted for more than 60% of their points in the entire game.
Yes.
That is the level of depth they have. And you mentioned Benny Williams being the X factor. This was also his best game of the year, and you see what that results in.
Yes.
15 points and 7 boards off the bench. Do we see him in a starting role soon?
Well, you know, it all depends on how much he wants it. You know, I got a chance to fly with him home after the break, you know, when the guys went home for Christmas, the little break. You know, he's from Washington, D.C. area, you know, so we were on the same plane, and Judah. and just basically, told them, just keep up the good work, giving them positive motivation, and that's what it's about too, but you got to believe in yourself. No matter what anybody says, you have to believe in yourself and believe in your abilities. And if he truly does that, because he's so athletic, his shot is not bad, but sometimes he might overthink. And as long as he can calm that down and just play and have fun, everything else will take care of itself.
Yeah, he had a really meaningful in the post game. I don't know if you guys saw, but Mario Sacco, one of our friends over at News Channel 9, posted it on Twitter. He kind of grabbed Benny off to the side and was asking him just about how he feels, all the controversy towards the beginning of the season. And Benny just said, he was like, look, man, I'm grateful to just still be here.
Yes.
And I thought that's really cool that he's even just, admitting that he's grateful to still have a role no matter what it is. And now he's going to make the most of it.
Yeah, it's very real. I'm happy that you got the chance to be able to talk with him because you do see the impact that he has when he's playing at his best. He really is an integral part of this team. One other person I want to point to is Malik Brown. He had 5 points, 8 boards, and 2 steals against Pitt. He's shooting 75% on the year. I mean, this is a guy who's been doing a really good job, potentially Syracuse's best center at times.
Yeah, Malik's, I just like his demeanor. He's a quiet, low-key guy, but he plays hard, and has great hands. That's what a lot of people don't understand, In any sport, you have to have good hands. And he has very good hands. He has good instincts, and he's always around the ball. And if, honestly, I want him to be a little bit more aggressive. If he could be a little bit more aggressive, that would even open up a little bit more for us as a team, as far as with Benny playing well and him being aggressive. And, we'll do well. I like where we are right now at 10-3, and I can see us doing very well in the latter part of the season. But that all depends on, how much chemistry these guys build within each other and working at each other and pushing each other to make each other better.
Yeah.
Poetry,
Yeah.
I kind of want to tee you up with something here. I kind of want to pick your brain for a second.
Okay.
You mentioned before having this be a Big East game, a former Big East matchup, and having it be so physical. That's what the Big East was known for at like the height of its era, which you were so much a part of. So what was it like to kind of see that out of this matchup?
Like I said, it was, it's crazy because when I'm watching games, my palms are still sweating. So that means I still want to get out there and do something. But it just was a very exciting game, It brought back a lot of good memories, winning memories, because we won a lot. And, and I want to see that for this team. I'm so happy for my teammate, who's the head coach, Adrian Autry. He's doing a great job with the team. And I remember when everything just all happened and he was going to be the head coach, I remember coming up to him and I said, man, if there's anything I can tell you, it's one thing, and that's do it your way. And he's doing it his way right now.
And one thing that both of you have touched on, but I think it's really important, is that this was a comeback win. This was a comeback win. It was sparked by the bench, sparked by solid defense. This team came out in the second half, trailed by 11. They finished the game with 12 steals, forced 15 turnovers, and we said it, but the bench massively outscored Pitt's bench. There's something going on here that transcends the ability of any one player. Yeah. It's the fact that this is a collective team effort, and no matter how much they're down by, it never feels like they're out of it.
Absolutely, and it's called one thing, Sam and Rachel. It's called believe.
Ashley.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Ashley.
It's all right.
That's all right. We're a team.
Rachel,
We're gonna
get.
We gotta hold our team accountable.
Yes, Ashley. I'm sorry, Ashley.
It's okay.
There's one thing that's very important. It's called believing in yourself and believing in your team. And I go back to about a month ago when we talked about it, Sam, when they were down 24 to Colgate. That was the key, honestly. After coming back from a down 24. And I know Adrian Autry personally, he's bringing that back up every time he's down. It's like, guys, we were down 24. If anything, we know we can do it. So it's all about having that belief and back to protecting your home, which was his first ACC win. at home, and that's very important.
Yeah, that's what I said after the Pitt game, and of course after Colgate, like you mentioned. It's almost like in these games, they all have a moment collectively, or they talk in the locker room, and they decide they're not going to lose. You can see the spark change and the energy change within them. And I did ask them a little bit about that after Pitt as well. And I asked Quadier who he credited that to, you know, where that comes from. And he laughed, and he was like, not to sound cocky, but myself. He was like, even if I'm not playing.
That sounds like Quadier.
He was like, even if I'm not on the floor, I'm going up to everybody. And I get that vibe from them.
I know.
You know what, Quadier? I'll give it to you. I mean, I think it is him. But just another thing quickly, we were talking about the bench. Judah Mintz said that they don't even really look at their bench as a bench, so to speak, because it's so important to the team. And I think other teams would be happy with half the production, you know, compared to what Syracuse is getting off there. Other teams would be happy with 20 points off the bench. Forget 40 or 52. So, Moten, I just want to ask your opinion on that. Like, how important is it to a team when you really don't view your bench as a bench and kind of view it as more of a team of 8, 9, 10 guys?
Oh, it's a big factor, because at the end of the day, it's about trusting each other. And I really feel that this team does that. They trust each other. The past years, I didn't see that trust. I went to the practices. I didn't see that love, you know, and it's nothing against any of the players that were here. It's just that I didn't see it. And now I'm beginning to see that trust and that love, and these guys are working hard to be the best that they can be, because at the end of the day, you know, even for Judah, when you're winning, he looks good.
Yeah.
No matter what, you know. So, you know, when you're losing, the best player looks bad, or it's talked about. It's no different from football, any sport. So as long as we're winning, everybody's happy.
That's right.
That's right. Well, listen, we're recording this on a Tuesday. We're going to have a little post-game episode coming out later tonight if you listen to this Tuesday, because we got Duke up tonight. After that, Boston College at home, and then number 8 North Carolina next Saturday, January 13th. Looking ahead, what do we need to see? How can we keep up the momentum, see the success?
Well, the next 4 games, at worst 3-1, I would accept. You know, I'm biased. You're asking the wrong person when it comes to Syracuse sports, because I always feel like we're going to win. You know, we win that Duke game. That's going to open up a lot of doors and open up a lot of eyes for just all of men's basketball. They're going to see that we're really for real, and we come to play this year. And I think we're going to be. I think we're going to do well. I feel good tonight. You see, I'm all suited up.
I have to say, I really
ready
like
to
that
go.
outfit, by the way.
I'm always ready.
Look at him pointing
He's
at the
ready to
sky
play.
cam.
Yes,
All right, let's throw you in,
Yeah,
right?
Hey, I tell you, my
Put 'em
palms
in.
sweat, Sam. My palms be sweating when I'm watching the game.
I love it. Well, listen, quickly looking ahead, one thing I want to make note of here, Syracuse basketball hosted one of the top wing prospects in the 2025 recruiting class for an official visit over the weekend. His name is London Jemison. He was in attendance for the win over Pitt, which if that doesn't fire you up, like what would? Awesome game to attend. He's from West Hartford, Connecticut, 6'8", 200 pounds, and he's ranked as a 4-star prospect by Rivals and ESPN. This is a guy who has other offers from Virginia, Villanova, UMass, Boston College, so something to just keep an eye on there as we continue to move throughout the season. Can never hurt to be building the next generation, the next years to come.
Absolutely.
Final thoughts.
Ladies first.
Okay.
Final thoughts. It's an exciting time to be a fan of these two teams, and it is. I do hesitate to get too excited, right? Because we're just getting into January. We're just getting into conference play, so hold your horses a little bit. But if after a couple more of these big tests, you know, go their way on both teams, on both sides, I think we would have a real reason to be excited this year. I don't know. At the very least, I think there's more competitiveness already at this point than there was last year and a few of the years past.
Absolutely. I'm feeling good. You know, we're sitting at 10-3 right now. I don't think anybody expected that, to be honest with you. And I think the sky's the limit as long as they keep playing hard and trusting in each other. I think this is going to be a solid year. I honestly think we're going to win about 18 to 20 games. Yeah.
All right. I'm hoping
I
that we
love
can
it.
run that clip
Yeah.
back.
Me
I'm
too.
going there. I'm going there.
And we're right about that. All right, I like that prediction, and I like that it came early. Listen, my last thought, and I'll actually ask this to the viewers as well. Would love to hear your thoughts on this. This is a question that Rachel put down. Are you more excited about the comeback win over Pitt or worried that it had to be a comeback win? Which is true. There's two ways to look at that. But I'll say for me, I did feel excited because, Moten, I remember what you said a few weeks ago when we were discussing Colgate, down in a massive hole.
Yes.
And the thing is, once you overcome that, now you're right. In any game that you're down by 20-plus points, you have a point to reference. You can say, these are all the things that we were able to overcome. And because we've done it in the past, science tells we can do it again. So I think it's actually a good thing. Let us know what you think. And thank you, everybody, as always, for joining us. This is the award-winning Orange Zone podcast. A reminder, you can find these episodes on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. Episodes drop at least every Wednesday, if not more. Have a couple overtimes cooking up this week if you're interested and hungry for some more football content. But other than that, we will see you next week. Thank you so much again for joining us. Rachel Culver, Moten, Ashley, I'm Samantha Croston. We'll see you next week.
Get well, Tommy.
And get well, Tommy. Get better soon. We miss you.